Welcome. So excited to be with you on this most miraculous day. Of course, every day is miraculous, but let's say that what if today was the last day of our lives, one of our lives? What would we want to appreciate? Who would we want to connect with? Who would we want to celebrate? Actually, this is a kind of a fun question for the beginning of the call is let's just imagine this is the last day you can reach out to people in your life. Who'd be someone that you'd want to reach out to say thank you? Thank you. I just want you to put their name in the chat. Like, who'd be someone that you want to reach out to? Imagine it's the last time, either it's their last day, your last day, but it's the last time you can witness with gratitude something they've been in your life. Maybe they've touched your life in some way, they've helped you in some way, they've loved you in some way. And I just want to say, I'm so excited to be co-hosting this section with Jana and Monica. And Jana, Monica, maybe you can monitor people who are writing things. Oh, Vinod wrote my name. Thank you. Okay, Ronnie, Tracy. Ronnie, can you come on? Maybe Monica and Jana, as I'm doing the cross-posting with Facebook Live, you just ask Ronnie to share. Why would she? What is it about Tracy? And what would she want to share?
I'll share. Am I unmuted?
Yeah.
Wow. This is difficult and it's a celebration all at the same time. Tracy's my youngest sister. Actually, she has, in my estimation, many problems. She's an addict and we don't see her very often, but she's changed my life immensely. And I reach out to her often. I don't hear from her often, but I would want one final word with her to make sure she knows I love her.
Wow, it's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Let's see if we can hear from maybe Colleen as well. You mentioned Tyler.
Good morning, everybody.
Good
Yes,
morning.
Tyler is my son, and just grateful for all of the lessons I've learned being his mother. That's it.
Hello, Colleen. You're such an amazing lady, and Tyler is such an amazing man. Just really amazing.
Thank you, Jana. Thank you, Jana. Back at you, sister.
So good to see. Well, we're not seeing you, but it's so good that you're on the call today. There you are. Say hello. You're muted.
I'm in a car, so I don't want to get anybody car sick driving from Utah back to Rapid City.
Good to see you. Can you share about the miracle of our meeting? I just wanted you to share that little miracle moment because it's so special meeting you and Valerica at my home, eating my mom's moon soup.
Oh, it was absolutely amazing. So I was leaving Boston with a colleague, Valerica, a few days ago, and I texted Clint and said, okay, are you in town this time? Because every time I come to Utah, I make sure to reach out and see if he's in town so I can stop and give him a hug. And this time he said he was flying out at 12:30, and I was flying in with Valerica at 9. He didn't know she was with me. We ended up in an Uber over at his home. The first thing that happens is he understands Valerica has an accent and asks where it's from. And she lets him know that she's Romanian. And a couple of days prior to that, he had just received a replenishment of his book, and guess in what language? Romanian. So you just can't make that stuff up. And some things that really touched Valerica is she wanted to make sure not to lose touch with her home country of Romania, and that just, was a massive, I call it God incidences, where Clint calls it miracle moments.
So beautiful. Sending lots of love to you, your beloved, your son, Valerica.
Thank you.
It's so beautiful.
Thank you, guys.
I just love reading the names. Wendy would be your dad. Katie, so many people. My husband, daughter, son, Sharon, Dr. Clint. So beautiful. Michelle says Fabio. Esther Francis, Ali, Jeffrey, Carla, Mira, Clint, Mariam, and so many more. Carolyn, Maggie, Dancer, Judy Lamar, Linda on the other side, Mummy, Karen, everyone. So are you and everyone. I'm really loving this. And, it's kind of funny. It seems hypothetical. My grandpa would say that, live every day as if it's your last and one day you'll be right. And we never know how much time we have. But the cool thing is we don't really have to know to create miracle moments. The whole miracle experiment game where it follows the principles of ancient secrets of a master healer. Just a few of the principles. It can create miracle moments every day. And today, I actually have a real special invitation is that whichever name you wrote, whether they're on this side or the other side, you really take time and you either write a letter, you sit down, you take time, you write a letter to them, or pick up a phone and call that person and create some real magical heart moment today. I do not think that you'll regret it. I think by reaching out to these people and saying thank you. Dr. Ram, one of the biggest secrets in the miracle experiment is infusing your life with gratitude and setting up time to thank the people who have shaped our lives. Like even Ronnie so beautifully said, sometimes the people who've changed our lives the most are oftentimes the people in the moment who are the most difficult to be with. They've been our master teachers. So sometimes just reaching out to those people and saying, thank you. Thank you for what you've done in my life. It can be so healing. And I have someone on this call right now. Oh, she doesn't have her video on. I'm going to ask her to start it and see if she'll just start it. Going to get a little emotional if she does come on, but whether she comes on or not, I want to thank my mom. And she came on the call yesterday for the 1-year immersion, and it was so beautiful, her sharing. And, in the midst of it, she shared really intimate things about, having 8 kids is a big thing. Having 26 grandkids and 2 great-grandkids is a lot. And she felt like, when we were growing up, that us kids didn't know that she loved us. Because she wasn't so much of expressing that she loved us or hugging us or different things like that. And, I have seen her in the last years, it's like come into such a different space of where she's the same as she's always been. She's always been loving. Her love language is doing things, action, and showing us that she loves us by taking care of us and making everything fall into place. And, there's a really sacred moment where she asked me, Clint, do you know that I love you? I was like, yeah, Mom, I didn't even hesitate. I know you love me. She's like, no, but really, what else can I do so that you know that I love you? And I didn't want to just, it's hard to have those conversations sometimes if you're not ready, but I didn't want to just cast it aside because I knew. And so I felt the words come out of my mouth. I was like, well, Mom, I'd like it if you just tell me you love me more and you hug me. I was even surprised the words came out of my mouth. But clearly my love language is those things, physical touch and words of affirmation. And she didn't even hesitate. She stood up right away, walked across the area, gave me the biggest hug and whispered in my ear, I love you. And since then, she does it every time I see her. She makes sure she holds, makes sure she tells me that she loves me. And it's so beautiful. I just want to say, Mom, I don't know how many days that we get to have together on this life. I don't know how many days I get to share with you. It was just on a phone call with a friend that, her mother had transitioned, had passed. And her mother had actually passed on her birth time, like the birth time of her daughter, the daughter I was speaking to. Her mother passed at that birth time. And it's actually the partner of Gary Malkin in the musical they're doing about birthing, about being a mother, called Can You Hear Me, Baby? And it just made me think about people I'm grateful for. And Mom, I just want to tell you how much I love you, how much I'm grateful for you, how much I appreciate you, how much I can never repay the love you've given me, and how much I know I'm just reflecting all the things from all my brothers and sisters as well, even if we're not so good at sharing it with you sometimes. So thank you, Mom. I love you so much. Today, one of the relationships, sometimes it's easy to see that we love people that we love. But one of the relationships sometimes it's hard to acknowledge and to love is our relationship with money. And I want you to think about it like a relationship. What's your relationship like with money? Is it a dysfunctional, marriage? Is it a difficult breakup? Is it a romance? Is it like a platonic friendship? What is your relationship with money? And we're about to share an interview I did with Sarah McCrum from the Gold Coast of Australia, where she felt like, what if money could speak? What would it say? And she channeled a book. And Dr. Ram loves books. In fact, as part of the Miracle Experiment experience focusing on abundance, we're giving you so many books. He loved the classics, some of the classics, and everything. He said, if I can learn one idea from this book that will change my life, it's worth it. And she wrote a book called Love Money, Love Money, Money Loves You. Money loves you. There's that book by T.R. Becker. He says every time you see a quarter or somebody say, I'm a money magnet, and you express your love for money. But what if money loves you? What if it's just waiting for you to align with it in the way that fills up your heart, where you have a vow, like we do in the Miracle Experiment experience, that as much money as comes into your life, as much abundance comes into your life, you're going to use it for the benefit of humanity. And money's like, I've been waiting for this moment so I can flood you with abundance. Well, as you watch this interview, and Cornelia, I want you to cue it up. As you watch this interview, I want you to be introspective and thinking about, what is love teaching you about your relationship with money? And I also, right before that, I want to acknowledge anyone that's new on this call, anyone that hasn't been here before. I want you to make sure you put in the chat that this is your first time with us. We want to acknowledge you. We want to love you. We want to welcome you. This is a call where basically we're discussing the ancient secrets, how they apply to our lives, the miracles that happen, and also a very open, vulnerable space in which we can share any difficulties, challenges, Aditi Devo Bhava moments that are coming, so we can help each other through that. Today we have so many special guests. Gary Malkin, Emmy-Award winning composer, producer, is going to share a very powerful transformance with us. Larry Weingarten is going to share a mystical moment that I think will inspire you. And we got so many things today, so I just want to start with Sarah McCrum. Cornelia? Right, so honored to be here with you, Sarah.
Thank you, Clint.
And you're joining live from where?
From the Sunshine Coast in Australia.
Sunshine Coast. Okay, so now I'm proposing that all of the Ancient Secrets community, next time we come to your home.
Yes, fine. To my farm.
Yeah, to your farm. We'll have a camp out there. And we can really delve into the concept of abundance. Now, I know of you because of Gary, and also because of your book, this powerful book, Love Money, Money Loves You. And so a lot of the people on the call today, they're experiencing what we call the Miracle Experiment game, or Miracle Experiment experience, focusing on divine abundance and really unlocking some of those secret keys which make it so we're aligned with nature, which is abundant. And this book is a channeling of what money would say in a lot of ways. Can you tell me, I know I read about it, but just for people on the call, how did this book come about?
I had just had a business failure, so it was a very, very difficult time for me financially. I didn't have any money at all. And I was actually reading a little book about money, and it's had a question, said, what would money like to say to you? So I was kind of journaling, didn't really think anything of it. And I found myself writing a message from money, and it was an exquisitely beautiful message, really like incredible and surprising. And it touched me so much that a few days later I thought, well, maybe money would have something else to say to me. And it did. And that repeated itself. And I wrote over 60 messages from money, which are basically the contents of the book, completely unedited.
You know, I love that pretty soon some of the transformances, the audio messages that also you channel that Gary put music to, will be offered on Gaia. In fact, we'll make some other announcements about it sometime that people will get a chance to hear today. But one of the things that I love and I wanted to ask you about, you know, you talk about how to use this book wisely. And Dr. Ram, he, you know, in the book, Ancient Secrets of a Master Healer, he talks about knowing is not doing, but there's knowing, there's doing, and it changes your being.
And I love it in this little section at the beginning of the book. It talks about the more I explore what is written in this book, the more I've come to the conclusion that simplicity is deceptive. Every instruction is simple in and of itself, and it is simple to do each of the little things you're asked to do, but we're amazingly skillful at avoiding change. We can come up with so many excuses for just not doing it right now, or I'll do it later, but it never comes. One reason I love this miracle experiment experience is because everyone is applying it every day for 30 days to hopefully change those habits, to change our vibration. What have you found? I just want you to speak to that point about sometimes the secrets are simple, but simplicity can be deceptive. Like how do you find that we can kind of more apply and become more of the magnets for abundance?
You know what I found through experience of practicing what I learned from the book is that our energy, in a way, our energy searches for good experiences. And so, for example, when you read that book or you have a miracle experience or you touch into something like that, your energy says, oh, that was nice. I'd like some more of that. And it will tend to go looking for more of that. We're often trained through many of our habits to actually punish ourselves. And we have a lot of disciplines that we put around ourselves that can be quite punishing and harsh, and your energy doesn't really search for them. So you have to force yourself to do them, and that gets complicated. So that natural inner working that you have that makes you search for things that are more alive, more nourishing, more increase your thriving, that's actually the real simplicity of it, is that you are wired for that already if you can only give space to your natural system to go looking for things that feel good to it.
I like that. That's
it's nice. It's really nice.
You know, and the other thing that I like about, you know, there's why read this book? And then there's a lot of different people that are sharing, you know, like the first one, this gem of a book is unlike anything else out there. As you read to learn, as you read, you learn to challenge your preconceived notions about the world and your finances, and everything is explained logically, which is not always the case in New Age literature. I like that. It is life-changing, not only because it teaches you how to get money, but also how to restructure all your negative thought patterns and learn to live joyfully and contentedly. And Dr. Am, he talks about how there's conscious mind, subconscious, and superconscious. And the process of doing and changing the being is actually helping reprogram some of those thoughts about what people are focused on, what they don't want, instead of what they do want. You know, one of the main parts of the miracle experiment game is actually continue asking yourself, what do I want? and then anchoring that in a deep way. I guess on a personal level, what do you want, Sarah? What do you want with regards to abundance or finances? And like, what's your vision for yourself?
Oh, you know, what I really want, what comes up more than anything, is actually to be living in a system that works for all of us. That's my really kind of dedicated desire, and what all my work is about, is that we can relax because we have an economy, we have financial systems, we have businesses that actually are designed to support life and support the things that are important for us. And then it's kind of like we can all share in that, because money is for passing around, you know, it's for sharing things. We won't have shares for no reason. People talk about equities, you know, they're shares. That's actually about sharing. It's not really about keeping everything. So for me, that's really what I long for more than anything else. And what I work towards is just this. I see the picture of relief on people's faces when they realize that it is actually possible to build a system that is supportive to humanity, supportive to nature, and supportive to life. And that will bring my own prosperity to greater levels. It's like it's automatically included.
I love that so much. You know, at first when Dr. Ram, when I found out that he was so savvy with money and abundance, that the masters in this lineage were good at it, I kind of had a challenge with it, actually. Like some conflict inside of me. But the more I look at it, the more it makes sense that one of the greatest healers on the planet understood this. And actually that one of the medicines for the planet is exactly what your vision is.
It's that we can do good and make money at the same time. Not, I can make money, but just like, let's not look at what I do. Or I'm a good person, So I have to be really careful, because if I make money, you know, I won't go to heaven, or else my virtue will be somehow, something awful will happen to it and I won't be a good person anymore. Like, those are the messages that play under the surface. We might not be conscious of them, but they are so prevalent across both Eastern and Western cultures.
Yeah, I like how Dr. talks about not disease, but dis-ease, and how much dis-ease comes from either our beliefs or the way that the world is structured in terms of how money flows in and flows out. And what a great opportunity now to anchor into ourselves new beliefs, new experiences with money. And then there's another part I just wanted to share. One of Jasmine, she says, how to read this: read with an open mind, bring in the playfulness, less seriousness, and most importantly, enjoy every word of the book. In this way, one can reap the most benefit and insight, which can help improve the quality of life, not just for oneself, but eventually the whole of mankind. And I like that because, you know, when I think about the miracle experiment game, it's a game. And when you're playful, it actually helps change a lot of those patterns a lot faster. Anything you want to speak about that, the playfulness regarding your experience with money or abundance?
Yeah, you know, Money talks quite clearly about that in the book, that when you're serious, everything gets tight. And when things are tight, you're less receptive, actually. So you're less receptive to the energy of money as well, which means less receptive also to money itself. But when you're playful and lighthearted and you have fun and you enjoy yourself, you're just naturally more open and more receptive. And then when you're clear what you want, you're able to clearly say, yeah, this is what I want. And you're relaxed and open. Those are the best, simplest conditions for both asking for and receiving what you want.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Well, I just want to say, is it okay if I just read the first page of the first chapter?
You're welcome.
All right. And I know everyone, you're going to have a chance to go into a beautiful experience, a deep transformance. I like that word as well. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit, because Gary's on the call today and is going to share one of them. I just want to read the first section. So this is the introduction. What money would like to say to you. I would like to tell you to love me, smile at me, collect me, enjoy me, feel my power, spend me, invest me, give me, pay with me, take me. I am energy. I'm very powerful and beautiful. I'm an incredible web of connections. I am light. I'm not dirty. You're too afraid of me, as you are of many things. You can open up and embrace me fully into your life. It's not too late. You can start now. Just open yourself and say yes. Be brave. Love me. Love yourself so you can accept my power, my glory, my light, my beauty. I'm not the devil. I never have been. I'm a glorious being of light. So much reframing in the first page. So many beliefs that so many people have about money and our association.
But you know that that's true, don't you? When you read that, it's like whatever you thought before, it's like, oh, this feels better. This feels more right. This is more true than whatever I believed about money before. And that's what I see people realize. It's like, oh, yes. Yeah. It's such a relief.
I definitely know that Dr. Ram had such a beautiful relationship with money, in which he saw, you know, the beauty of it, the power of it, and loved in such a way that it expanded in his life so that he could do what he was born to do on this planet. And my wish for everyone listening to this call, either the live or the recording, you can feel more worthy of having that in your life. And tell me about, first of all, I want to know where people can connect with you. If they want to learn more about your powerful work, what's the best way? Is it sarahmccrum.com or is
sarahmccrum.com, and there's liberatehumanity.com. Those are my websites.
Okay, beautiful. Liberatehumanity.com and sarahmccrum.com. Now tell me about the word transformance and this, what we're about to experience.
So transformance, obviously from the name, it combines transformation and performance. But what's not obvious when you listen to them is that actually they are recorded live and they are totally extemporized or improvised. So what it really looks like is that I'm in a little studio and Gary's in a next door room. He's at the piano. He has no idea what I'm about to say. He just knows more or less the topic. And then I figure out usually the first 3 words or the first phrase, not even necessarily the first sentence. And then we just connect. and he starts to play and I start to speak, and we're just so merged with each other energetically that this little gem comes out, which fundamentally doesn't need any editing at the end. You know, there's sometimes just a slight placement of something, but they come out as you hear them. And it's the most remarkable experience to record that. It is like a very beautiful connection where I get delivered the words and he's delivered the music, and it all flows together.
Oh, that is so beautiful. It reminds me of one of the people on the call. His name is Daniel or Devananda. He talks about the mystical experience where he came out of his depression and realized that really life, it was a romantic dance of his soul with the gift of life and being so present. And I feel like that's what happens in these transformances as you channel the words and Gary channels the music and the merging of that to give us this gift. I'm excited for everyone to experience this. And then just this book, Love Money, Money Loves You. Don't forget Sarah's website. And is there any one final tip that you'd give people about just being open to receive more abundance, more abundance in their life?
There are 3 words that make a very simple, easy to remember kind of collection, which is relax, enjoy, love, in relation to money.
I like that. Relax, enjoy, love. That's so beautiful. Well, we got the timer coming off now. We're going to go to Gary for the transformance. Thank you, Sarah, for joining us. And we hope to hear more and more from you. Thank you for your gift of your heart, your vision for what humanity can be. And I want to support you in any way I can in that as well.
Thank you so much, Clint. And thank you for inviting me to be part of this.
Oh, beautiful. All right. Handing it over to you, Gary.
Oh, hello, everybody. Ancient Secrets community. So happy to be here with you all. Let's just go right in her unique main download from money as a powerful high vibration entity of consciousness after as part of the one unified experience of God. It's just been a life-changing experience for me to have her in my life. And so I wanted to pick this one. So this word transformance is something I came up with when we did it, because it's designed to put you into an alpha state, which is a trance. It's designed to catalyze transformation, which happens inside of you with your participation. And it is a performance in the sense that it calls forth a level of presence, not only in Sarah and I, when we're actually dropping in extemporaneously to bring forth this radical sensitivity to every word being related to. I'm listening to the word in the sentence and the emotional content and coloring it with music. She's listening to my music and it's coloring her words. And in a way that is such a beautiful microcosm for the dance of how we communicate always, is that are we listening at that level of presence that would enable us to wrap our love, our heart, our soul around what someone else is saying to us at every moment, with that kind of listening that isn't like rehearsing and planning for what you're about to say, right? That's what the transformances are when we do them, but it also is a metaphor for how we can be in our lives. So this one transformance I chose because the thing that I'm going to talk about after this is, or when I have the opportunity to speak this call, is the relationship that money and abundance has with our own sense of self-love, self-presence, and self-acceptance. And that's one of the things that has been my big journey. So here we go. Why don't we prepare for the meditation, the transformance? And I really encourage you to close your eyes and allow yourself to really, really feel the power of this transmission, because it's a very unique way, as you can tell by what she says, how money can be considered. All right, here we go. I'm gonna share my screen. It's so good to be with you all. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay. Notice the breath is invited to be slow now. Everything's slowing down. you on the other side.
I'd like to talk with you. There's something I've observed, and I'd like to share it with you. When I look at you, I see that you often feel that there's not enough. There's not enough of you, and there's not enough of me. Money and life and beauty and joy. And all of what you wish for. And so I'd like to share a secret with you. I'd like to show you something that you haven't noticed before. So come with me and let's have a look together at you. I want you to see that you are enough. You are enough. Because you are you. And there's no one else like you. And that is enough. And I want to show you that when you know that you are enough, just as you are, there will be enough of everything for you, and so much more. So much more than you can even imagine. There is such richness. There is such joy. There is so much beauty, and it's right around you. And it's inside you. And it's everywhere. And in the moment that you know that you are enough, you will see it. You will know it. You will live it. So I invite you to see what I'm showing you. It is all for you.
And results of our practice together, you know, just feeling the ripples in the pond that have been offering, that we are enough, and that the center of our abundance comes from a cellular knowledge of our enoughness. Till my next moment. You tell me when that is, Clint. But I'm so happy to share. Sarah McCrum is one of the greatest creative collaborations I've ever engaged in my life. And I'm excited, and I'll tell you more about how you can experience her more on Gaia soon. And I'll tell you that when my next opportunity to speak will be.
Gary, your next opportunity to speak is now.
Oh my God.
I want to know, you really had a miracle moment in the miracle experiment experience where you saw that it's kind of like our mindset alerts us to the abundance we're living in or the lack, and it can see either, and we choose. And I think if you share that moment, then we can share some of the abundance things, and then also some of the real exciting things coming.
Well, I have another cool track to celebrate at the end of my time, so I'll try to keep aware of how long I'm speaking. But yeah, I love to share this experience because it speaks to a requirement for vigilance around the kind of the elasticity of our ways of being, our neuronal pathways that sometimes can, without our awareness, pull ourselves back into a way of being that used to define what I call my prisonality. Neil Rogan calls this. He wrote a book called Delightment. I've mentioned this before. Google it and try to get it. And delightment, and the subtitle is escaping the solitary confinement of your. And that title in and of itself is a profound teaching, right? Wanting to kind of exert itself. And
Gary, in terms of your relationship, like thinking about having a relationship with money, as you're telling this story, I want you to think, because I've never asked you this, but what was your relationship like with money before? If you're going to describe it in terms of a relationship.
Oh my God.
And then how did that change?
If I were compatible with 12-step programs, because there's a lot of the amazing, and I've tried Debtors Anonymous and all these things, and the principle of understanding that on some level you're always dealing with this propensity for an addiction, it can get limiting as yourself. But for me, the most difficult and challenging life lessons for me has been to transform my belief that my bank account or my money or the lack thereof defines my value. It's something there's a cliche, but being in a Jewish family, that my father was a Russian immigrant and had a horrible, horrible poverty-stricken life in his childhood. And I have to say that growing up as a man in this culture, there's this deep belief that says that the only way I'm a valid man, a respectable man, a worthwhile man, a man that I could respect, is if I have money. Significant, it's transformed on having a lot of money. It used to have to be a lot of money, which I used to have, and now it's just sufficiency, And so what happens is, So my relationship to money has been like has defined my character and my value itself, which is a fun. I'm not the only one thinking this in this culture, right? So I have this propensity to try to prove my value by making sure that I have money and then I'm acceptable. How many of you, by a show of hands, have even, I'm only seeing Esther. Come on, don't make me feel that alone. No, I'm only kidding. No, be authentic, of course. But so what happened was in May, I had this breakthrough that was literally this. You realize that when I tell people that I lost all my money in the Madoff scandal, then it redefines my victim status. And it refines me as someone who that lets people know that, wow, I've been experiencing a major travail and yet I'm still soldiering on, right? But the voice said to me,
All right, sorry, but he's growing up, and so I just have a surprise for him. Oh, let's see here if I can get
oh my
this in.
goodness. Here, let me
Hey,
get the
Pearl, can you just say hi to everyone and give a message to Gary and all the people?
I finally come to 99, and I think that's a little old to be alive, but I guess God will say he wants to. That's my loving boy.
Hi, Mom.
I love you, boy. Hello, darling.
Oh my God, you are
And
tricky.
you-
Smart Clint, you're tricky, bringing her on in the middle of my talk.
she just
Thank you for calling.
yeah.
And tell Clint I think he has to wear a mask. I read an article that still had that stupid thing around, and I don't want to get it.
Hey, Mom.
Hello, darling.
Mom, are you not defining yourself around dying? Are you being more grateful about being alive?
I'm just doing whatever I can do. I think God did for a reason. I don't know why, but I'll just hang around a little longer.
That sounds like a great idea, Mom.
I love you, Pearl.
I go, that's all.
Pearl, is it okay if just in 1 minute you get love sent to you from people all over the planet? Would that be okay?
Oh, all over the planet, I need lots of love.
Okay, let's all put our hands together. Pearl, we're all putting our hands together. We're getting so much heat from our hearts moving through our arms to our hands, and we're sending it to you right now. We love you, and we're with you.
I need it. I can't stand.
I love you and I'm with you.
Listen, Mom,
What?
listen.
What?
Sending you love. Watch, listen.
Yeah.
Okay, you can if you can unmute yourself, everyone, and just say, "I love you and I'm with you."
Love you and I'm with you, Pearl. I love you and
you
I'm
and
with you,
I'm with
Pearl.
you.
I'm with you, Pearl.
Love you, Pearl.
Love you, Pearl.
Well, take
You
you
are loved. Love you and I'm with you.
Love you, Pearl. Love you, Pearl.
Love you and I'm with you. I love you and I'm
Love you,
with
Pearl.
you.
Love you, and I'm with you.
All right.
Pearl.
I love you and I'm with you.
Mama Pearl.
So that's really, Clint is such a coyote. I love him for that. That is so. So what I share with you is what June, July, August, September, swam 5 days a week, except for then I got arthroscopic surgery in May, in the end of August. And when I stopped swimming every day, I incrementally, without noticing it, slipped back into this experience that I didn't know was happening. How many of you know that, have you recognized where all of a sudden there was a month later, you realize, oh, what's happened? I slipped back into a way of thinking. It can happen under your radar screen because it's happening incrementally. So what happened was I stopped my 5 day a week swimming practice, and over the month that the healing after the knee surgery, so there I was in the pool about 10 days ago, and I suddenly felt the filmy, milky, energetic, yucky substance victim that had found its way into my body again. I went, is that what's that? And I just went, there it is again. Your energy is identifying with what you're wanting, what you're needing, what you're lacking, what you're wishing. Now it's wonderful to want things in the future, but I was identifying around all the things that were lacking. And the moment I saw that had injected itself into my energetic experience of my body, but I've got water around me and I'm swimming every day. I have a shelter over me. I have eating 3 meals a day. I have people in my life that love me. I have music that I've created that's touched millions of people in the world. All of a sudden, it wasn't just me telling myself these things to be grateful. Things came to me in a rush. That was like a cleansing experience. It was extraordinary. It was a enlightenment experience. I just suddenly was infused with gratitude, with like gratitude. And it literally almost was like it was a cleanse. It was a realignment. It was a way of remembering. And this is what helped me understand that the old parts of us try to reestablish themselves because everything wants to exist, and so it really made me aware that these incremental biochemical identifications with lack can create a waxy buildup of my consciousness, and I need to be constant heal my relationship to the power of gratitude, of loving one another as this community can do. That's what I wanted to share was
beautiful, Gary. I don't know if you can hear me, but it's cutting out a little bit from the people listening. Basically, he's talking about how he was infused in a state of realizing the abundance all around him and in him. And the power of communities like this one is more than he's ever seen in his life, for helping reflect back to us the abundance around us and in us and the beauty of who we are. Along those lines, right now we have on the call, and Gary, we're going to come back to your musical piece and then the special announcement about, some of the abundance that Gary and I have been living in is celebrating that some of these transformances and wisdom films, these very powerful pieces have just been accepted on Gaia TV. We signed the contract and everything is there. They have all the documents. More things, though, is the musical that Gary has been working on. Then an additional thing is a certain Graceful Passages workshop, and he's going to announce that in a little bit. But Larry, as you're hearing Gary speak, I want you to see if you can come off of mute. Talking about being connected with life, connected with source. Larry had such a beautiful experience that's captured in a book. It looks like it says host disabled participant screen sharing. I think, Cornelia, maybe you have to make me a co-host. Can you make me a co-host, Cornelia? So Larry's going to describe this experience, but basically it's been documented in a book that he's about to release called Fix It Wisdom, Using Your Creativity, Heart, and Other Tools to Mend the World. And as a plumber, actually here, let me do this. There we go. Now I think I can share my screen. Yeah, I'm going to stop. Gary, your screen share for now. Here's the book that Larry's been working on that's coming out. Fix It Wisdom, Using Your Creativity, Heart, and Other Tools to Mend the World. You can see all the tools here. Larry touches my heart because he just wants to be useful. And Larry, can you share this moment, this mystical moment you had?
Sure. I mean, one of the articles or essays in this book is called, I just call it Hallelujah. So here it is. One recent morning, I was in the kitchen listening to Hallelujah, written by Leonard Cohen and performed by Rufus Wainwright. There are many versions of Hallelujah out there, but this one is particularly moving. I paid little attention to the other words in the song and the web they wove. Rather, I was filled with just the one radiant word, Hallelujah, and the rhythm it swam in. I turned and looked out the window to see blue skies, small birds sitting in a tree, and more birds flying all about. It had rained the night before, and everything shone and glistened in the sunlight. Even the birds' beaks sparkled. Suddenly it struck me hard and with clarity. We don't need to go looking for religion or spirituality. We're immersed in it. We're part of it. All we need is to be aware, and it flows in and through us. We simply need to say yes to it. I thought about the stories of people who almost died, touching the fingertips of death. They experienced that light and love as they saw and felt beyond our 3D world. And I felt that same love shining in through the kitchen window. Couldn't hold back my happy tears, or maybe I'm just crazy. Whatever, it is such an amazing world we're a part of. We just need to notice it, particularly when we're busy, troubled, or have no time, because those are the times when we'll get the most help from that beautiful world all around us. Finding enough quiet or internal stillness to see it seems to be the trick. It's remarkable what falls in when we quiet the noise inside and make space for good things to happen. Simply remarkable. Thank you for listening.
So beautiful. You know, as you're sharing about that mystical experience, my heart was touched so much, because it's in that space where we're connected with source and connected with everything. You see the oneness of everything. There is no lack. There's an abundance of magic, abundance of miracles. Relationships get healed with people, with money, with ourselves, our own heart, with the divine. And Devananda, I know when I hear his experience, I think of yours that I mentioned early on this call, about realizing that you're in a mystical experience where it's like a romantic dance of your soul with the gift of life. And I believe, Gary, that's what you were talking about, in the pool. All of a sudden, something switched. And instead of going from everything that you don't have, you focused on, wow, the abundance, enough food, all the love, all the friendship, all the ability to experience creativity flowing through you and to be of service on this planet. So thank you, Larry, for sharing that. If we have time at the very end, I'll ask you one more question, but I know Gary has one more song. And then I think, Devananda, you have a question for everyone that we'll pose at the end. We may not answer it today, but we'll ask that question. So Gary, coming back to you, what is it that you want to share with us right now about living in this abundance and some experience you have for us? Let's see, Gary, can you come off of mute, or what happened here? Oh, somehow I think he's not on the Zoom right now. Hey, Gary? I got disconnected. Okay, he's in the mystical. Okay, let's go back to Larry, because now Larry has another guest with him visiting. Yeah, beautiful.
Hello.
Look at this beautiful guest. So beautiful. Well, while Gary is getting on, Devananda has a question, because we're in the mystical nature. And actually, maybe this question is for Larry. Carol, yes. So good to see you, Carol B. So beautiful. Devananda, can you ask your question? Because at one moment we can be in the mystical dance, the romantic dance of our soul with the gift of life. And the next moment we're grappling with something in it, and what's this thing you're grappling with? I just want to put it in our minds and our hearts, and maybe someone will have some insight or maybe it'll help them.
Oh, thank you for sharing about my experience that I had back then, because that gives me motive, that those little moments give us boost. Oh, this is possible. So it helps me to emerge more and believe, that we can live in much better ways. So, but of course, some challenges, does that sound good?
Yeah, it sounds good. Just speak a little louder, but you're doing good.
You need louder?
Just speak a little bit louder, just a little bit is all. And then, because we have such a limited time, maybe just ask the question now, and then we'll come back to it next week where people will have a chance to listen in their heart and find some answers.
Okay. So one of my challenges is diet. I have done the monk food for weeks, but I have kids at home. My wife buys many different things for them because that's her way she treats them, and that she does that out of compensation, the way she grew up. That's her thing. I already went over this, and I know I learned to respect that's her background. I have a different background, but despite we have 3 kids, and then we have snacks around the house, we have all those things, and I love chocolate, I like sweets, but I know the sweets are not good for me.
Yeah.
It creates me some imbalance that I am aware already. In this path, I have enough evidence to learn that when I stay without any sweets for more than 3, 4, 5 days, things change. I get much calmer. So it's a big challenge for me, because if I didn't have in the house, I wouldn't buy. It would be much easier for me. But I have access and I see it all the time, and I feel tempted, like Gary was saying, you know, the temptations that we have in life, tendency to some weakness, you know. So I was wondering this morning, and I need some help. This is the perfect place to put this in order for me to help and have this discipline. But, you know, I'll be seeing something that I like all the time and not tasting it. And at the same time, I need to do that for my body, you know?
Can I repeat?
So
Can I just repeat it one time, see if I understand? Yeah, so you want to be in a state of abundance, a state of abundance of health, a state of abundance of connection with your heart, your soul, your mind, with your creativity, with source. And you have kids at home, and there's snacks and sugary snacks and all kinds of processed snacks. And it's really hard in that space, because it's the temptation to consume those snacks is so strong, but you know how it affects you. And so you're at this dilemma of what to do in that space. What's the most loving thing to do in that space? So did I understand you correctly?
Yes.
Yeah, and you're asking, you say, this is the perfect community to bring this honest challenge of your heart and maybe receive some help and some love. So in this moment, it's okay if we just start by sending you so much love. Anyone else, first of all, anyone else struggle with that dilemma? Sometimes, yeah, I think we got a lot of hands raised, where it's easier if it's not even in the house, but because it's in the house, then it even becomes more of a challenge. So let's just put our hands together so much in this space of, I didn't come to teach you, I came to love you, and love will teach you. Just receive this love, this witnessing of you, your family, your kids, your heart, your honest expression, vulnerable expression of this moment.
I love you and I am with you.
We love you and we're with you, Daniel.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Now this
I
will
love you and I'm with you.
Yeah. Now we all love you. You can put in the chat to Daniel. And then if someone has a particular insight, you can share with them. But this will be one of the moments where sometimes we don't necessarily need to solve anyone's problem for them. I didn't come to teach you. I came to love you. Love will teach you. At the end of maybe this call or next week, I'm very curious what love will teach you, Daniel. What answers are inside of you to that dilemma? What you'll discover that your own heart, your own source says in answer to that, in the space of this loving you so much and trusting your soul and believing in your capacity as a co-creator in the dance of your life. What dance will you come up with? I'm wanting to know. I'm wanting to learn from you, Daniel. I'm so excited to learn how love flows through you in answer to your own question. And I'm so excited to benefit from it in my life because of what you discover and what love teaches you. So I love you, Daniel. Thank you for sharing that. And in your breakout rooms, which are coming in just a minute, you'll have a chance to also, I love it. Daniel just demonstrated, Devananda just demonstrated what kind of benefits can come in this community when you can honestly bring it and just be loved in that space. Real quick, Daniel, is there anything that love teaches you in this moment? Do you have an answer to your own question? Or you want some time to think about it?
I have just a good willingness, a burning desire to see the gifts in it, in this situation, the challenges that are being struggling for a while. And yes, because this is an opportunity for me to learn to change my perception and see the good in it, and then the gift will come. So yes, thank you.
Well, one gift in it I know is I saw so many people raise their hand, and as love teaches you, and as you share what love is teaching you, I think all of us are going to benefit. So thank you so much for sharing this beautiful challenge. Oh, beautiful. I love that.
I'm going to jump in and share the track. Is that okay? Can I do that?
This is the perfect time. You don't even have to jump in, Gary. I'm handing it right over to you.
Woo! So, but I want to, first of all, just because I want to get the share it out, I know we got this. Hope Fitzgerald and I, we're going to do a live event on how most people are afraid of fully living more than fully. So we created a Graceful Passages workshop. And as of today, we are turning it into a day-long virtual. So if you go to this link that I've given you and tell us, just send it be a day-long virtual event on Saturday, November 12th. So just let us know that you're interested. It's going to be incredibly priced, very very affordable.
Your sound
and
keeps
it's a 5-hour event on Saturday the 12th.
Musical experience gets broken.
And I'm also giving you the link to the Gaia TV affiliate link. So that's the promotional parts, okay? But here,
it's not making
great
experience. And so in this particular case, put the link, definitely put the link where people are wanting that experience, overcoming their fear of life and their fear of death. They can join in that beautiful experience with you and Hope. And Michael Smith, he says, Gary, it's too early to be drinking. Gene Smith says, Baba. No, we won't hear it properly, Gary. We're gonna have to play it on another call with love, with love. We're excited to hear that track next time, but it won't come across. Even when you're playing your track on your computer, it's getting broken. So with love, we get that.
Could I play the track and
not today, Gary?
Oh, okay.
With love. But we want to make sure that we get the full experience. Your internet is breaking up, which means we don't hear the sound properly. So we're going to get that full experience on next Sunday's call. Today, I want you to take everything that love has been teaching you about your relationship with yourself through the powerful experience of Gary, of Sarah McCrum, what love is teaching you with your relationship with money, if money could speak with you, what love is teaching you when you wrote down the names of someone that you would like to speak with, if this was your last day or their last day, what love is teaching you in your reflection of the gratitude. And then following these principles in the ancient secrets and the miracle experiment game, writing in your journal, getting excited about seeing problems and documenting those. Like, I hope everyone in the miracle experiment experience, when Daniel shared this problem, did you write it in your journal? I'm just checking. Did you discover, oh, here's a problem, and get really curious and say, oh, Daniel, tell me more. I want to know, what is this problem? Train yourself in this way. And if you can be a part of that solution, so much abundance will come into your life. And Devananda, I believe in you. I believe in the power of your soul and that love is going to teach you. And as you learn, who knows how many other people you can unlock. Maybe this is your Aditi Deva Baba, God is showing up. And when you solve this problem in you, you'll help so many people and so much more abundance will come. Abundance of joy in terms of money, in terms of contribution, because this is a real challenge. So now, having said that, I'm so excited for you to go into your breakout rooms where one of the most magical things can happen as you open up vulnerably in that space, share as you're applying these principles. For those in the miracle experiment experience, we're going to go into the breakout rooms now. Cornelia, are you all set up for this?
Yes, most of them are assigned. A couple of them are not yet, but I will as soon as we are done, and then I'll assign everyone.
Fantastic. So for anyone that's on the Friday calls and watching this recording, we love you. So grateful for you. Anyone that's not in the miracle experiment experience, we love you so much. Anyone whose first time is on this call, so grateful for you. Whatever names you wrote at the beginning of this call, I encourage you to connect with them. Write a letter. Even if they're not in the body, write a letter to them. Write a letter. If they're in the body, you can call them or write a letter, however feels best, and experience that magic. And right now, as you go into the breakout room, Atiti Devo Bhava, trust the people in your group are exactly there for a reason. Even if someone annoys you or someone's quiet or you're curious, just become more curious. What if you were 10 times more curious about people, about problems, about life? And just enjoy the experience of opening your heart in that space and being curious about yourself, discovering yourself anew. I love you. I'm with you. Actually, let's just end this little section just in tradition. We all put our hands together. You can even unmute yourself if you want. I love you. And I love you.
I love
love
you.
you.
Love you and I'm with you.
Love you and I am with you.
Love you and I'm with you.
I love you and I'm with you.
Love you, Harvey.
Love
And I'm
always.
Love you and
I'm
I'm with
with
you.
you and I'm with you.
I am with
You,
you.
Ronnie. You, Karen.
Love you and I'm
Love
with
you,
you.
Rob.
I'm with you.
We
Love
love
you.
yes,
That is so
Love
beautiful.
you and I'm with you.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Gary, for showing up today. Thank you, Sarah McCrum. Thank you, Larry and Shadow and Carol V. So grateful that you've been here with us. Everyone, thank you for honoring your heart and being here today. Thank you for the new people. And Cornelia, you can go ahead and open up the breakout rooms. Make sure, mentors, that you start recording so that way people who aren't live can make sure they're there. And for those watching at a distance, we love you and we're with you.